Welcome to another video with Paula Anderson Coaching and Consulting. My name is Paula Anderson and I am your instructor. Before we get into the topic of this video, I need to tell you a little bit about my background. So I have a bachelor's degree in English, a bachelor's degree in journalism with an emphasis in public relations, and a master's degree in journalism and strategic media, and I have a graduate certificate in leadership. So let's get into this video. So this video is going to focus on learning styles. So as you know, well, you may not know, I have been a teacher since actually 1997. So that's when I first got into teaching. And so I taught for a company that I worked for during that time period. I was the training specialist. So individuals that needed to learn the software for that company, I would train them on how to use that software. And so I actually taught them how to integrate the software with medical billing. So that was my background. But over the years, I have been teaching in community college level. So I've taught in higher education going on about 15 years now. So today I want to talk about learning styles. So learning styles is how you learn skills. So if you are going back to school, you haven't been in high school since, you just say, at least 10 years, well, you're going to have to focus on how you're going to get back into the thing. So I'm going to give you my own personal story before I tell you about the learning styles. So I went back to school in 2014. And when I went back to school, I signed up for an online program. Now, mind you, I'm a Generation X, and so I didn't really think that I could do it online, but I had a really good instructor. And so I was able to get my second master's degree in an online program. So it is something that you can accomplish. However, you have to be very disciplined. So if you feel like you cannot set aside the time in order to do your schoolwork, then that may be a challenge. So I got my second master's degree in public relations and journalism, strictly an online program. Now, let's move to the learning styles. So when you are preparing for a test or any type of assignment, you need to understand what you study. So there are three dominant learning styles. So we have visual, which is you have to see information. I am a visual learner, so if I'm trying to learn something, I need to see it first. Also, auditory. So auditory is that you need to listen to it, you need to hear it. So when I'm doing these videos, I'm pretty much focusing on the auditory learner because I don't have a visual to show. So I'm focusing on the auditory learner to make sure that you're following along with what I'm saying in the presentation of the video. And then we have kinesthetic. So kinesthetic learning is by doing, meaning that you actually have to put the application of the knowledge in practice. And so if you are a non-traditional learner, which means that you have not been in school for at least 10, 15 years, then you probably need kinesthetic, meaning that you have to practice it. So there are two aspects of learning. One aspect is theory. So you get your textbook and you learn the concepts that's in the textbook. All right. Then you have to figure out how am I going to apply those skills. So for individuals that are preparing for the CPC exam, so you learn your guidelines in your textbook or your CPT manual. Then when you get ready to do your practice exam, that's when you're applying your knowledge. You cannot apply your knowledge if you don't understand the guidelines. So I would spend more time reading the guidelines before I do any of the practice exams because you got to have a foundation of your knowledge. The second thing is that learning takes time. So you cannot learn medical coding in 12 weeks and be proficient in it. Now, you can learn concepts within a 12-week period, but you cannot master the field of medical coding in 12 weeks. It just takes longer than that because your mind has to process. And then you're also having to think about the different surgeries. So you're having to learn medical terminology, you're having to learn CPT coding, you have to learn ICD-10 coding, and then HCPCS coding. So you're learning three different systems. Then you're learning a new language, which is medical terminology. And then coding in itself is a language. So when I teach individuals about medical coding, I'm actually teaching you a new language that you are learning. So stay tuned for more videos from Paula Anderson Coaching and Consulting. Make sure that you like this video, that you subscribe to my channel, and that you share it with somebody who may need to know more about learning styles. So stay tuned for the next video. I'll talk to you soon.